What is going on, everybody? It is your boy, your man, Stoked back at it with another video, and today we're doing yet another Toxic Tier List ranking. Oh yeah. And today we are going to be ranking all the Monsterverse movies. So that's the, universe with Kong and Godzilla and stuff. But before we get sexual, beginning of the video, what's up, guys? Don't forget to subscribe to the channel because number one, it's absolutely free. Number two, we're on the road to 700 subscribers. Just let me do the math here. 47 away now. Really help out you, boy, if you did subscribe. And also don't forget to like the video as well, because I know that you do like my Toxic Tier List rankings, and help with the YouTube algorithm recommend a video more, and maybe let some more people know of that channel, and they can maybe join that Toxic. And do feel free to comment your list down below. But before you start actually ranking the movies themselves, and we're still recording, right? We are, okay. Before we start ranking the movies themselves, Godzilla x Kong New Empire. Get back down there. We have the categories. So we have best of the best, which means they're the best in the franchise and perfect. Great means they're close to perfect, but there's some stuff that kind of bother me about it. Toxic goodness means they're good, but they do have some issues. Okay means it's overall like a mixed bag. And then toxic trash means dumpster fire, one of the worst movies in the Monsterverse franchise, and there's nothing really that can save it. So let's go chronological order here when they came out. Yeah, so that's the order they came out. So the first movie in this Monsterverse, this new established Monsterverse, was Godzilla from 2014, and I think this one's overhated. Is it a great movie? No. I would say it's good. Has a pretty decent cast in here. You got Elizabeth Olsen in here. You also got Bryan Cranston in here in a minor role, which I hope they would. I wish they would have used him a little bit more, but that's okay. And it has Aaron Taylor Johnson in here. And probably out of the Monsterverse movies thus far, I think this is the one you actually kind of care about the characters. The characters aren't as bad as, the other ones, but they're not, you root for them on the level of Godzilla -1. But they have some decent character development there. Also, the CGI effects for Godzilla in this are amazing, super great special effects, and just the overall story was interesting, and it was interesting as well how they made Godzilla the hero this time, because I don't know if I haven't watched most of the old Godzilla movies, but most of them I've watched, he's been a villain, so this is one of the first times I saw him as a hero, so that was interesting to see. And as for negatives, and also the actual monster fights are cool. But as for negatives, the big monster villain that Godzilla fights, I thought they were okay. They looked cool, but they didn't have a thing about them that stood out. Also, I thought that maybe we should got a little bit more Godzilla. I wish we kind of got that. And also the negative of there wasn't much Bryan Cranston in this, because he's a great actor. So that goes into the good category. I think solid. It's a very solid Godzilla movie. Yeah, but it does have its fair share of issues, though. Next up, we got Kong Skull Island, and I can tell you for sure right now that this is definitely the best out of the movies. Would I put it in best of the best like it's perfect? No. No. I have to argue with this one, because Kong Skull Island, I can't really think of a negative in my head, really, but it is a great King Kong movie. It's just I prefer, the Peter Jackson 2005 King Kong with Jack Black, but, I'll put it in great, because some of the side characters besides the main characters like Brie Larson, Tom Hiddleston, and some of the soldiers you care about, and the scientists as well. But some of the other characters you don't really care about that much. And Samuel L. Jackson does great here as the kind of human villain. They did great with him. The CGI effects, again, this time for Kong, were amazing. They looked so cool. The actual Skull Island was pretty cool. How they kind of switched things up from the last movie and made it look a little bit different, which I appreciated. And the creature designs in here were pretty freaky, especially the skull crawlers. I thought they were pretty creepy looking, and the monster fights are great in here as well. So, Kong Skull Island, definitely the best out of the Monsterverse so far for me. Then we got Godzilla King of Monsters, and this, for me, is the weakest. Is it a bad movie? No, I wouldn't say it's a bad movie, because, I don't know, it's overall a mixed bag for me. Of course, you get the awesome monster fights. Most of these movies, you get pretty great, awesome monster fights. And the CGI effects really good, and also, no, actually, I shouldn't take it. Do I put it in Toxic Crash? No, because those two carry the movie, but basically, all the rest, I don't like. I thought that this probably has the worst human characters out of all the Godzilla movies thus far. Well, the only one I really cared about was the dude from the first movie that came back. That was pretty much it. All the rest of them, I just went, I don't care about them really. The new family with Millie Bobby Brown and the mother. Later on, she does something. I'm not spoiling things here, but she does something that's very like selfish and kind of bad. And later in the movie, they try to give her a redemption arc that I thought just fell flat on its face. It did not work at all, and it was utter crap how they handled that. But otherwise, yeah, this movie was okay. And also it is kind of boring in between, but the monster fights save it. So if this would be, I would consider it meh. I would consider it meh. It's not utterly bad because, as I said before, Next up, we have Godzilla vs. Kong, which came out 2021 during after pandemic, or starting. Well, it came out when the pandemic was starting to slow down a little bit, but people were still scared and stuff. And this one basically went to theaters, and it also went to streaming too, because there were still people that were hesitant about going out into the theaters. So, Godzilla vs. Kong is a fun time. I would probably put it above Godzilla, because this one, you get really good monster fights between the two of them. The characters in here are okay. They didn't bother me as much as King of Monsters did, but they definitely weren't the best either. The surprise boss at the end, I thought was pretty cool, and wasn't expecting that. And also, I just want to point out something as well. I came to this movie way later than it came out, and my Jackson Ace, I usually introduce movies and TV shows to them, and they introduced this to me. So, and I thought Godzilla vs. Kong was good. Yeah, simple as that. And then we got the new doll, Godzilla X Kong New Empire. And Godzilla X Kong New Empire is also going in the toxic goodness category. I would probably put it at the top of toxic goodness, because this gives you plenty of monster action in here, or Titan fights and stuff. This one doesn't focus on the human characters too much, which I gladly appreciated this time around. And it mostly focuses on Kong's story, which I thought that was very compelling in the movie. Probably the best arc they gave him, even though he had a pretty strong one in Godzilla vs. Kong. Also, the villainous Scar King, I think overall is cool, and I liked the lore they brought in with him. It's just, it kind of felt anticlimactic in the final act with him. The relationship between Kong and Zuko was really nice, and also helped with Kong's arc. The CGI effects, amazing. And this one... this problem didn't bother me necessarily, but it kind of is something that might turn people off, where they both fight a lot, fight Titans a lot, and people argue what the body count is, because they kill a lot of people in these Titan fights. And as for negatives, they didn't really... Godzilla wasn't really a big part of the movie, so it's kind of a little weird when the movie's called Godzilla X Kong New Empire. Maybe switch that around to call it Kong X Godzilla New Empire. I did overall think that the beginning of the movie was very fast, but it eventually slowed down again. But then there's parts of the movie where it really slows down. But otherwise, it is a good and fun time, and I do think it is a great movie to see in theaters. But with that being said, guys, I hope y'all enjoyed this tier list ranking of all the Monsterverse movies from the worst to the best. And yes, I haven't seen Monarch yet. I know I need to get on that trend soon, but maybe for the next Monsterverse movie, I'll watch the series. But before we get into the actual ending of the video itself, guys, do feel free to comment your list down below. And with that being said, guys, I'll see y'all next one, everybody. Peace.